We cut to Hux and Ren discussing with Space Hitler. For some reason, Hux wants to destroy the Republic first in order to weaken the Resistance, even though he could just destroy the Resistance first, since they are the ones currently fighting him and then deal with the Republic later. And why does Space Hitler not go after the droid himself? What is he doing all day? Shouldn't he be more concerned about the return of the Jedi, literally the only thing that could defeat him? He should know full well how dangerous Luke is, since he is directly responsible for the death of Palpatine and his principal commander, and by extension, the collapse of the old Empire. Why does he send this excuse of a man-child to do missions for him? He is clearly mentally unstable. He even flat out states Ren could forsake the dark side and betray him.
By the grace of your training, I will not be seduced.
We shall see.
Next we get a scene where they repair the Falcon.
What'd you do?
I bypassed the compressor.
Of course she can repair the ship better than Han. It's not as if he piloted the Falcon for fucking decades. So Han takes him to a forest planet that has a bar run by a sentient Cheeto, way past its expiry date, and they talk. Finn wants to fuck off and we get another bullshit chocolate milk moment.
Rey, come with me.
I mean seriously, they know each other for only a few hours, a day at most. Doesn't Disney keep telling us to avoid this shit? Anyway, Rey then heads to the basement and finds Luke's lightsaber and has some LSD vision. Bro, again with this shit. Han takes them to the one bar in the whole fucking galaxy that just happens to have Luke's lightsaber. Did Luke plan this out? Was he on some light Yagami bullshit? What's going on, man? The Nazis then fire their weapon and... Oh my god, that face. Jesus Christ, I swear this guy is a throbbing genocide boner right now. We cut back to the forest planet which the First Order invades, and Rey shoots several stormtroopers. Never mind the fact this is literally her first time using a gun, and she's going up against soldiers who are supposed to be
exceptionally trained, programmed from birth.
Meanwhile, Finn is going through his own bullshit when the Cheeto convinces him to fight with a lightsaber, something he has never done before. Then we have this guy who, instead of lasering Finn's ass as he fucking should, he goes into melee combat. The fuck? Guys, remember this? Fucking exactly. The Resistance comes to save the day, led by Poe. Wait a minute. Who? He should have been wastelanded back on Jakku. Guys, imagine if you fly to the Middle East and your plane gets shot down by some blanket-wearing fuck. What do you think will happen? You fucking die! And this guy fucking fell from fucking space. He should have been at least crippled enough to not be in this fight. Anyway, they beat the Order and Ren captures Rey. We then meet Leia and C-3PO.
Goodness! Han Solo! It is I, C-3PO. You probably don't recognize me because of the red arm.
What are you talking about? You mean the Resistance is so fucking bankrupt they can't afford yellow paint? We then get to Rebel HQ where they talk about the past. Now, it makes no sense for Han to abandon his wife like that, especially when he was a general and the galaxy needed him to beat the fucking space Nazis. It's like if Prince George dies or turns emo or something and William just abandons all hope and joins ISIS and starts smuggling cocaine and AK-47s even though his grandmother is literally under fucking money. Han's behavior suggests that in the original trilogy he would have went up to Luke and said, "Bro, I'm done with this carbonite shit. I'm going home." And Luke's like, "But man, don't you care about the fate of the galaxy?" And Han's like, "Fuck the galaxy. I have vagina monsters to smuggle." Realistically, Han would have teamed up with Luke for a mission to bring Kylo back or end his ass if he was irredeemable. We then cut to...
Where am I?
You're my guest.
What's this guy's problem, man? He literally sat there for God knows how long and watched her unconscious body. How disturbed is this guy? The whole interrogation scene is rapey as fuck.
You know I can take whatever I want. Don't be afraid. I feel it too.
JJ, what were you thinking? So he tries reading her mind, and of course he fails, which makes absolutely no sense since he has trained in the Force for years and has had direct training from both Luke and Space Hitler. He's so powerful, he's the leader of his own band of presumably dark side users, the Knights of Ren. So when this guy, who's supposed to be
Exceptionally trained, programmed from birth.
tries to mindfuck Rey, she not only resists it, but mindfucks him in return. Completely absurd. Absolutely cuckoo land, man. Ren then complains to Daddy, and
She is strong with the Force. Untrained, but stronger than she knows.
And the droid.
Ren believed it was no longer valuable to us. That the girl was all we needed.
wait, was Hux just listening behind the door? No, seriously, he came in at the perfect moment to humiliate Ren by mentioning his failure. He roasts him so bad, Ren literally looks like he's about to cry. Little bitch. Rey then uses the Force to escape, which, you guessed it, makes no sense. Kylo should be able to sense her. That's how he found Rey in the forest. He knew exactly where she was, as demonstrated by appearing in front of the exact path she was taking. This guy can also sense changes in the Force, as he and Hitler did before.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Yes.
You'd think that if he was able to sense such things from so far away, that someone using the Force in such close proximity to him would be easy to detect. But no, of course not. She fucking disappears. We then cut to some more insanity with the Resistance, as they plan to destroy Starkiller Base. With the help of Finn, they deduce that to destroy the base they need to destroy the thermal oscillator right before the weapon fires. First of all, why the fuck does Finn, a foot soldier, know anything about the technical specifics behind the base? He shouldn't know, and honestly, if the Order was smart, which they're fucking not, they'd just lie about everything. I mean, they have millions of stormtroopers. Wouldn't it be a disaster if one of them gets captured and subsequently tortured or mind-read by a space wizard? What if, you know, they get fucking betrayed? The real function of the oscillator should only be known to a small number of vital personnel which have the highest possible security clearance. As far as the normal troops are concerned, tell them they're building the oscillator to make burgers. Tell them anything but the fucking truth. And why is there only one oscillator? Can't they build 100 smaller ones that collectively do the same job, instead of going for just one that, if destroyed, could literally supernova the entire planet? If they can build only one, it should be deep underground, or surrounded by literal miles of fucking armor. You know, to avoid what happened the last 2 times? This isn't hard, guys. Just use your brain, come on. Han leaves with Finn to destroy the base's shields, and manage to crash land on the planet.
Oh, really? You're cold?
No, Chewie, you're not cold. You should be frozen to death. Guys, you know why the planets far away from the sun are cold, dead, and lifeless? It's because they're far away from the fucking sun, and this thing eats the sun to power its weapon. No amount of winter jackets and layers of fur will protect you from becoming icicles in minus 300 fucking degrees. Their blood should be frozen. Their brain cells should be frozen. Oh my god. So they ignore the laws of physics, infiltrate the base, somehow sneak past all the millions of stormtroopers, and capture Captain Phasma, who was exactly where they expected and completely unguarded. They force her into shutting down the shields and allow the massive invasion force of 12 ships to assault the most heavily fortified military installation in the galaxy. They attack the oscillator, who for some reason is not defended by millions of cannons. I mean, they already invested quadrillions of dollars into this. Why not spend some of that money, which they shouldn't possibly have anyway, into ensuring that 30 years of their work doesn't blow up? Finn and Han then bump into Rey, which is to be expected in the planet-sized military base.
How did you get away?
I can't explain it, and you wouldn't believe it.
No! Really? You mean JJ couldn't figure out how this extremely conspicuous woman dodged Dark Lords, thousands of patrols, cameras, droids, sensors, and other surveillance equipment from this technologically advanced fascistic military base? It's as if doing that would be fucking impossible. They find Kylo Ren, who walks on an extremely narrow bridge with no railings, with a drop to the center of the planet, and Han confronts him. The sun disappears, and we get the most symbolic scene in the movie, where Ren kills his dad to completely embrace his emo-ness. The scene is of course ruined by Rey and Finn, who for some reason are not horribly dead, despite the sun being gone and them wearing the same clothes they did on Jakku, a desert planet. So Kylo gets shot, and Finn and Rey run away to unquestionably the most egregious part of the movie. Kylo, despite heavy blood loss and being lasered in the abdomen, somehow makes it in front of them, completely alone, with no sign of transportation. He tree-fucks Rey and proceeds to have a lightsaber duel with Finn. Now, I know Finn is supposed to be
Exceptionally trained, programmed from birth.
but I doubt lightsaber combat is part of the military curriculum. Even if it was, Kylo's a veteran space wizard who can block laser bolts out of the air and should easily one-shot this fucker despite his injuries. In fact, why doesn't he use the Force? I mean, he used it on Rey before with great results, so what happened? Does Finn have some sort of aura that makes his enemies dumb themselves down so he could fight them? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't he force gripping his arm and make him chop his own fucking head off? This fight is not only retarded, but downright insulting, and it's not even the worst. He then fights Rey, who manages to be on par with him, and in doing so, completely wiping her ass with the established canon of how space wizards are supposed to work. For most of the original trilogy, Luke was a noob who needed extensive training and guidance from both Obi-Wan and Yoda to be even remotely good. In fact, when Luke leaves training with Yoda prematurely, he gets his ass handed to him by Darth Vader. In the prequels, we see the Jedi Temple recruiting and training children from the earliest possible age in order to create proper Jedi. Even Anakin, despite being a prodigy, still gets absolutely demolished by Obi-Wan, primarily because of him possessing way more training and experience. You know, the things Rey doesn't fucking have. When she fights Kylo, she literally uses the lightsaber for the first time. Again, her being this powerful makes no sense. The only explanations are that she's a demigod super genius that masters anything in like 5 seconds, or that touching Luke's lightsaber beamed his knowledge of the Force and years of combat experience straight into Rey's mind, which is incredibly lazy and nonsensical, since the existence of such a technique would have rendered Jedi training completely superfluous throughout the series. Never mind the fact that it still wouldn't do shit about Rey's physical condition, since being a space wizard involves training the body as much as the mind. You think Rey's muscles are accustomed to what she's currently doing? Did she have practiced Dark Lords to fight on Jakku? I don't get it. So Rey prays to JJ for an ass pull, JJ agrees, and she completely savages Ren, who loses an arm and part of his fucking face. After that, they escape the base, the thing explodes, they're not melted in the explosion for some reason, and go back to Rebel HQ. Here, through some bullshit with R2-D2, they find the complete map, have a celebration, and then Rey goes to fucking Space Scotland or whatever to meet Luke, who doesn't say a goddamn thing in the movie. The end. Jesus Christ. In conclusion, The Force Awakens is a movie who, despite its amazing aesthetics that puts the visual CG diarrhea of the prequels to shame, ultimately fails in rekindling the flame of the original trilogy. Its plot is inconsistent and nonsensical, at times stepping into complete absurdity. Its characters are cartoonish and stupidly overpowered, with luck that would make them win the lottery 10 times in a fucking row, with an ineffective villain who, despite his training and background, is a complete pussy that gets shit on even by his own colleagues and a former member of the retarded circus he calls an army. So guys, if you want to see more roasting, hit that subscribe button and let the flames burn.